Well, would you look at that. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting this. But DreamWorks has proved once again why they are the most inconsistent studio ever. After last week having Megamind 2, everyone hated it. It was a terrible movie. Honestly, I cannot recommend the movie nor the show to you. That was actually what I was going to talk about today. But a trailer had just dropped for a movie that didn't really spike my interest at first, but after taking a look at this trailer, this might be one of my most hyped animated films in the later part of the year, and that is DreamWorks' The Wild Robot. Now, I talked about this movie a little bit more on the channel a while back in January, and there wasn't that much about the film that we knew. We knew it was based off of a book, and it was about this robot stranded on an island. We didn't know anything else besides that it had a stellar cast attached to it, and on top of that, having the director of Lilo and Stitch working on this. So if you have that director, you know you're in good hands, because Lilo and Stitch is a great movie. And when you put it all together, all the hatred was coming back to DreamWorks with Megamind 2. DreamWorks stepped in and said, hey, we can do better, and dropped this bombshell of a trailer. And wow, after watching it, and all of you should go watch this trailer, but this movie looks beautiful. First of all, as soon as the trailer started, we knew the animation was different. DreamWorks always has a tendency to do this when they're doing a movie based off of a book. It's been a trend ever since they started with making adaptations based off of graphic novels, books, whatever it may have. And this is no different. And man, the nature looks stunning in this movie. And one thing that was throughout this entire trailer, there was no dialogue at all, except for the end. We don't know who's talking at that point. But this movie gives off a lot of WALL-E vibes, the Iron Giant kind of vibes, and those are the movies that make you seriously cry. Like, a lot of people talking about this movie were saying that this seriously gave off Pixar vibe levels, because DreamWorks has never really gone in that territory. We really haven't had a movie from DreamWorks where it got into that territory. Pixar is known for making you cry by the end. But this is one of those movies that I see a lot of people getting teary-eyed with this movie. Now, there's the common thing where everyone's talking about, is this movie gonna have dialogue? And for that, I personally would be fine either way, just not a lot. The movie can have its dialogue in some aspects, but not the entire movie. I feel like this is that type of movie where you could sit through the entire thing, and it's a movie where you could do show, don't tell, and every viewer could understand that. This is a movie that I think everyone can, not say relate to, but engage with. And I think that's a movie that's why everyone's so hyped for this movie. It looks amazing visually. The story seems so calm and just not superheroes, not crazy superpowers, not anything like that. It's just a simple movie, and from what I've heard from the people that have read the book, there is a lot of dialogue. The animals, some of them may talk in this movie. We don't know for sure. There is a lot of really good cast members attached to this, including Pedro, Bascow. We got a ton of other voice actors that are really going to put their all into this movie, from what I've heard. There are animators on Twitter that are talking about this movie and saying, you guys are not ready for what this movie has in store. So that's a pretty good sign that we're getting a good DreamWorks movie. And another thing I see a lot of people talking about is, this movie might be an Oscar contender. Now, DreamWorks hasn't won an Oscar in a very long time. Disney and Pixar have been, snubbing the Oscars lately, and occasionally Studio Ghibli, and maybe some rare movies from time to time. With like Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but with this, I think there's a chance of this movie standing a chance at the Oscars in the animated category. Maybe it'll get visuals, you never know. But with this movie, I think it stands a chance. If this is what everyone's hyping this movie to be, it could be one of DreamWorks' best movies they've ever made. And we do have the Oscars this Sunday. We'll see who wins, rooting for Spider-Verse, but a part of me thinks the Academy is going to hand it over to Boy and the Heron. Now, with this movie, it comes out September, so we got a pretty good while for when this movie comes out, but it was good to get this movie out for people that are definitely flocking to Kung Fu Panda 4 this weekend. Everyone thought that it was gonna flop. It's clearly wrong, because this movie is supposed to take over Dune 2 at the domestic box office this weekend, which is insane. But I'm sure all eyes are going to be on the Wild Robot. I'm personally not gonna read the book. I want to go into this movie with a complete open mind. And one thing this movie is thankfully doing with their trailers and promotionals is not giving the entire movie away in the first trailer. Thank God. Like, we've dealt with that with so many animated movies, not just animated, but live action too. They've been giving away so much. But thankfully, this movie, I don't see a lot of plot points being spoiled, which is a good thing. Nobody knows what to expect from when they walk into this movie. You might get some idea from reading the book, but I'm going into this with an open mind. And a part of me thinks that I might cry at the end of this movie. This movie got me emotional after the first trailer. That is not a good sign for my emotional state during this movie. And I noticed a lot of people have said that too. And this might go down as one of the best trailers DreamWorks has ever put out for one of their movies. It's a show don't tell trailer. It's a movie that looks like it's gonna have an amazing score. And it looks like so much passion went into this in their animation. A lot of people miss the painting kind of style Puss in Boots was giving off. And this kind of gives it that life too, but just a little more touches to it. It looks stunning. And this might be a movie I might have to see in 3D. Just something about it. I don't know. And it's just crazy. DreamWorks just has this tendency, man. Throughout the 2020s, we were just getting one-off DreamWorks movies. We had Trolls World Tour, then Boss Baby 2, which was horrendous. Then we get Puss in Boots 2 and The Bad Guys, which both, you've heard my opinions on both of those films. They're both great. Then we went to Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which wasn't a terrible movie, but coming from Puss in Boots right after it, some people were a little disappointed. Then we got Trolls Band Together, which I don't think is a bad movie. It's actually pretty funny at some times, but still, Puss in Boots and Trolls, putting them side by side, we know which is the better movie. Now we're kind of back into things. We have Orion in the Dark that just released, which was a pretty good movie. We have, well, whatever this is, which is definitely one of... It probably is DreamWorks' worst movie. But now we have Kung Fu Panda 4, which I'm hearing great reviews about. And this is the placeholder video. Next week, I'll definitely be talking about Kung Fu Panda 4. Chances are, when I'm posting this, I'm watching the movie right now. So, I, all in all, think that this year is going to be a great year for DreamWorks. I think that their movies are going to be great. Their television division kind of concerns me with this Megamind show. But all in all, regarding everything coming out in theaters, I think this year for DreamWorks is going to make Disney's 100th anniversary look like garbage compared to it. DreamWorks is pulling out all the stops, and this is a great film to go out for the 20th anniversary of DreamWorks Animation. What did you think of The Wild Robot? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Please, I'm very curious. Let me know down in the comments, and I will catch y'all in the next video on Kung Fu Panda 4, which I'm sure some of you might have already watched, because I'm currently watching it right now. I'll have my review next week, because I want to take my time on it. Peace out, everyone.